Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lah wa man yudlilhu fala hadiyalah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise be to Allah. We praise Him, we ask for His help, we ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the wickedness of ourselves and from the badness of our deeds. Whoever been given by Allah guidance, then nobody can be a misguided for him. Whoever be misguided by Allah, then nobody can be a guider for him. I bear witness, there's no God worthy to worship except Allah. Only Him, no associate for Him. And I bear witness that Muhammad is messenger and his servant. O Allah, give good prayers upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, and give good prayers upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. O Allah, bless upon Muhammad, and bless upon Abraham and the family of Muhammad, and bless upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. Really, most worthy of praises and most exalted in glory. Today, inshallah, I will fill in for our Sheikh. He is actually traveling right now, doing Umrah. May Allah accept all the deeds that been done, is doing right now, and also whoever from among the Muslim that doing their good deeds, and also may Allah accept for us. So I will fill in. The last topic being discussed by our Sheikh is actually it's about the blessing of knowledge. So today we'll go into the art of happiness. The art of happiness. Because the book is actually saying don't be sad. To not being sad is one thing. How to become happy? That is something that you have to learn. It's actually because it is an art to become a happy person. He said here, among the greatest of blessing is to have a calm, stable, and happy heart. For in happiness, the mind is clear, enabling one to be a productive person. It has been said that happiness is an art that needs to be learned. And if you learn it, you will be blessed in this life. But how does one learn it? How do we want to learn? Because being happy is good. Like we said about the topic of smile, to have always to be a cheerful person, joyful person in this world, to see everything in positive eyesight, not to have negative opinion about everything. That is a good thing. But how do you want to manage that? He said here, a basic principle of achieving happiness is having an ability to endure and to cope with any situation. Is that you always have the ability to look into everything, every situation that you be having in this life with a positive thinking. I said before, a boy came to me. We have a discussion. So he thought about negatively that his mother is controlling all his life, making him to go to extra classes, extra tuition classes. Then he looking at that his sisters, two of his sisters, is not having that control from his mother. So he actually seeing that it's not fair. But when I remind him about that, because he is the only man in his family, because father is not there anymore, so he's the only man and the only son. that his mother have. So the attention from the mother towards her is so great because of her thinking about the future of this boy. So I said to him that you can look it into negatively, but if you want to look in positively, you can. That I said that you actually blessed because in three of your siblings, you are the only man, the only boy. So your mother is concentrating everything to you. But if you live, you are living in like me, myself, uh, having 14 or 13 siblings beside me. So all of us is say 14. So when 14 children, one mother and one father, so the attention is actually not really into you. Maybe our first sister get the most attention, and the last one, okay, but we in the middle, we cannot get many attention. So I said, even if you are sulking, you are sulking, you don't like something being done by your mother or your father, you want to sulk and to hide yourself. People will not search for you until 3 days after that. Nobody thinking about you because there are so many people inside the house. So you are so blessed being given attention. So if you want to look into something positively, you can. You can positively look into something like if your hard disk, your work, your hard disk that inside is your work, every work that you have done, translation or classes and everything is there, books is there. So suddenly the hard disk crash and you have to build it up from the start, from the scratch. From the one side you are grieving and you feel sad is normal. But the other side, you have to look into positive thinking that maybe Allah want you to do a better work. Because sometimes the thing is there, you don't do extra work. Because the thing is there. You say that I have all the material. You don't do new research. You don't do new studies. Because all the thing is there. Like these days when you have the Quran inside your handphone. So you are really, you think that everybody is actually having the Android or iPhone, Quran, Quran Pro. But opening that Quran, because you think that the Quran is there, you're actually neglecting the Quran. Because you thought that anytime I can open it. But in the end, you don't open. It's actually different when you want to go to classes to recite the Quran in front of your ustaz. So actually the attention, the work that you do about reciting the Quran is actually will really getting you into the study. And the Quran will become something that actually always inside your mind. Like these days, the Quran is here, but memorizing or you don't do that. Even if you look into before handphone actually become circulating in our life, people actually memorizing numbers of his house, then telephone number, his house, his uncle, his aunties, his grandfather, his grandmother, inside your head, almost 100 numbers. These days, if somebody lost their phone, I don't think they can remember anybody, even their father and their mother numbers is they don't memorize. They will take for granted because the easiness. So sometimes the hardship that happened to you, if you look into it positively, you try to have actually doesn't have to grieve all the way. Yes, you can look into it positively. That is the way for you to, like you said here, to endure and cope with any situation. Any situation, try to look into positive side of it. Therefore, you should neither be swayed nor governed by difficult circumstances. When any difficult circumstances happen to you, you don't always say that, oh, I cannot do it, this is actually tiring me. You don't say something like that. You don't ever look into that. Don't let the situation controlling your mind or your mood. Cannot be controlled by that. Nor should you be annoyed by insignificant trifles. Sometimes things that are so small that you start to think about it and it's actually not really important for you. Sometimes people doesn't smile to you. Maybe he have something inside his mind. But you start to think, why the person doesn't smile at me? Maybe he mad at me or something. Actually, this thing, they said that in life, in marriage life, when a husband saw his wife in bad mood, so he said that maybe something happened. But a wife, when she saw her husband not talking or just like thinking, so she start to think that what is my fault, what is my wrong, even though the husband is thinking about the motorcycle that he tried to start it but then doesn't start. He's thinking about something, why my motorcycle broke down this today, where do I want to send my motorcycle. The husband is thinking about his motorcycle, but the wife thought that the husband is thinking about her. Have bad or not really good in good mood because of the wife. What is my fault? Did I did something wrong? The wife will think like that. But the husband always, it's okay. She won't have any her time, so the husband will go away. But the wife will always think about that. So sometimes the thing is actually not really that big. So you should not go into making it a big thing. Sometimes, like say, I said, smiling is good, but people don't smile to you. You just take it. Maybe he has something else inside his mind, making that he doesn't want to smile at you. Don't you say that he actually mad at me? When you start to think like that, you start to not having a happy life. You cannot a happy mood because you think that somebody is hating you. Do you hate me? That this word that always wife will say to the husband. Do you hate me? Actually, it's not the hate. Sometimes the mood is not there, but the wife will think that the husband already hate the wife. So sometimes actually things that are so insignificant, just let it go. Don't think about it. Based on the purity of the heart and its ability to endure, a person will shine. If your heart is, like I said, always thinking positively, and also an ability to endure the sadness or the grief or the annoying thing that happened to you, you can endure and not to think about it. Then at that significant, uh, uh, the person will shine. Will be always happy and always be positive. He said, when you train yourself to be patient and forbearing, then hardship and calamity will be easy for you to bear. So always try to train yourself, because it is training. Like we said, it's an art. To be happy is an art. Because if to be happy you have to be patient, then having the patience is actually something you have to learn. It's actually inside our life. Things that happen to us is really making us to be patient, grade by grade. Things happen to us, like having fever. If you have a fever, if you already did have that fever before, so the second time you're having it, your feeling or the situation is really not bad. But if that the first time you being tested with that type of sickness, then it is something that actually you cannot be that patient, really be patient about it. But like I said, if you endure first time, second time, third time, then it become more easy for you. I think something relating to the death of family members in our life is actually related to that. First time a death occurs in our family members. Actually, the first time will be struck you with so hard. Your eye will not stop, a tear coming down. You feel sad. You feel hurt inside your heart. That for the first time. But the second time, the third time, your father, your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother, your sister, your brother, and when you say about that, continuously it is happening in the end, the feeling of passion, or the ability to not be so sad. He feeling sad is there, but not so sad. Because you know that in the end, when you think about it, this life is not for you to be everlasting. This life is not everlasting. Your relationship, you are living with somebody is not everlasting also. Because Allah Ta'ala will either take you away or take her away from you, or your children also. It's not something that you can stop, because everybody has its own destiny being predestined by Allah. The date, how long he will be staying in this world, is something that you cannot stop. So having that understanding in the end will make you calm. Because yes, we are being separated with the person today, in this world, but we are meeting him back, or meeting her back, in the last day. You know that it's actually like you having a ticket, bus ticket or train ticket. Yours is actually 12 o'clock, but his or hers actually 8 in the morning. So she or he will go first, but you will come to them, will follow them. That is what the Prophet ﷺ told us to supplicate when we, or to say to those who, or to when you enter the graveyard, you have to say, Assalamu alaikum ya ahli diyal mu'minin. Peace be upon you, the all dwellers or inhabitants of the village of the believers. Antum sabiqun, you all already passed. Wa inna insyaallah bikum lahikun, and we insyaallah with you will be following after this. Nasallahu lana wa lakumul afiyah. We ask from Allah for us and for you the safety. So basically, in that supplication, you can see that you are saying that you went first, but we following after this. For realizing that the death is actually not something for you to grieving all the way in your life, because you will die. The person will die. You will die. You will die after him. So thinking about the understanding the situation in this world, the reality of the life, and that can help you to be patient all the way. You say here, the opposite of being content is being short-sighted. You're not looking at far sight. Having far sight in your life means always think in the future, what will happen, something that like that. To be positive and thinking at the most real test from Allah. You have to know that Allah Ta'ala is testing you. So if you short-sighted, you will just sad about the thing. But you think about the future, maybe you will smiling to think about what will happen in the next life, in next year, or 5 years from now. When we were in youth camp last year, one of the participants from Philippines, he asked me, how can I move on after having something saddening, having sad or grief? I want to move on. How can I do that? So I give an example. But example is actually, when he listened to the example, he said, this is, I already passed by it. When I said to him, I gave an example because, when somebody engaged, wanting to marry some woman, and suddenly the engagement being stopped, they don't want to go into the marriage. So the guy or the woman will really be sad, because engagement has been called off. But the problem is, I said, if after the engagement off, you will not be marrying that woman, that girl, and you get to marry to another woman better than the first one, what will you say? He said, me also, I have this. I have a crush at a girl. Actually, in my childhood, I really want to marry her, but suddenly it doesn't happen, and I feel sad. But after a few years, and I'm going to college and start to study further in high school, actually I'm meeting somebody actually better than the first one. At that time I think, wow, Alhamdulillah, it doesn't happen the first one. So sometimes, you see, when I told him something, so if you really think like that, you have not short-sighted, it's far-sighted. Something that Allah Ta'ala will replace you in the future. So you will actually waiting for the future, waiting for something that will be replaced for you. That is better than you grieving about something that is past. It's like being the supplication that being taught by the Prophet whenever any calamity, any hardship happen in your life, any loss happen, you should say, Inna lillah wa inna ilaihi raji'un. We belong to Allah and to Allah we will return. Allah ma'jurni fi musibati. Oh Allah, give reward to me in what calamity happened to me. Because of the calamity, because of the loss or the hardship or the test. This calamity, give me reward for my calamity. Wakhluf li khairan minha, and substitute me with better than it. When you supplicate this, you lost something, but you ask Allah to give you a replacement better than the first one. So you should think about the future, not the past. The past already passed. You cannot return it. So things like that, if you really think in your life, can help you become a happy person, because you are waiting for the exchange, being taken from you something, but be replaced by Allah better, because you supplicate like that. Then that is actually like the story of Salama, the wife of the Prophet. He was married to Abu Salama. The husband taught her that supplication. When she asked the husband, what did the Prophet taught today? So he said about that supplication. And when Abu Salama died, Salama supplicate that supplication. And after that, she thought about who is better than Abu Salama. Who is better than Abu Salama? But Allah Ta'ala make the Prophet ask her for marriage. So she been replaced with Abu Salama with the Prophet, peace be upon him. So it's something that actually, if you really think about it, whatever in the future is better for you to wait. Whatever Allah Ta'ala kept for you in the future, that is something that will be giving you a clear mind. Being concerned for no one but oneself, and forgetting about the world and all in it. That is actually one the thing, because somebody that actually grieving, he doesn't think about all the other people around him or her. This is the same when suicide happen. The person is really thinking about himself. He didn't think about his friend. If his mother have a father or sister or brother or wife or children, they're thinking about themselves. So the universe is around himself. So that's why the thing that will not be making the person become happy, because everything is upon him. Allah described his enemy as follows in Surah Al-Imran, verse number 154. Al-Imran 154. Allah Ta'ala said one of the character of those who actually disobeying him, or we can say that the people, those people are those who doesn't want to go to war when be called by Allah. So one of the character that they have, qad wa ta'ifatun qad ahammathum anfusuhum. Allah Ta'ala this story is actually in the war of Badar, when the companion prophet, they actually went out from Medina to stop the caravan from Mecca that taking their wealth to be sold in Sham. But when we look into it, the companion prophet, when they are waiting to meet they are actually they want to meet the people that doesn't because from Mecca there's two group went out. One is the going out with all the belonging of the people, the Muslim from Mecca want to sold it to Sham. The other one is actually a group of army, more than thousand people went out. So the companion of Prophet at that time, they actually thinking that they hope they're meeting the caravan that doesn't have any strength to go to war. That with them all the their belongings. But Allah Ta'ala make them meeting the other one, the army. So they actually went out from Medina, around 300 people, meeting 1,000 strength of army from Mecca. So at that time, they really feel afraid or worry. So Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala in that ayah 154, Allah Taala sent down to them the feeling sleepy. They slept. All of them slept. That is the way these days. If somebody have any their psychology is not really that right, and they start to shouting or hysteria or everything, the doctor will surely inject them with something that will make them sleep, because sleeping will calm down their nerve. So those people start to worry and everything. Then Allah Ta'ala send down to them nu'as amanatan, actually feeling sleepy, that make all the people slept except the Prophet. All of them slept except the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So they become calm after that. And then Allah Ta'ala told us about the group that among them at that time that ahammathum anfusuhum. He said here, thinking about themselves as how to save their own self, ignoring the others and the Prophet. Because they are going into the war in one group. So thinking about saving your own self, not to be with the group, is actually wrong. So you start to worry about yourself, you thinking. But when you think about others, think about the Prophet, think about the religion, think about the calling from Allah about going into the war. But you are doing things that Allah Ta'ala want you to do. So it will take away from you the grief and the worry and the sadness. But if you are thinking about your own self at that time, then you will start to worry and worry and worry. So because that is the way to distract yourself from thinking about your own self only. Because like I said, some people, when they commit suicide, the thing is actually they are thinking about their own self, not thinking about their family, their friend. You know, like Anthony Bourdain, when he took on his life, most of his friends, like Val Kilmer, one of the actor, he actually mad because he's become angry at that person because he is his friend. You have your friend around you. Why didn't you reach out to them? Just hang yourself inside the hotel. Why? So people actually, the friend feel betrayed, the family feel lost. So if you're thinking about that, you should not take your matter into your own self, your own self, and just thinking about yourself than thinking about others. Because the consequences is actually when you think about yourself, then that's happened. You want to free yourself from burden. You don't think about others that actually related to you. So that is actually thing. The selfishness is something that actually will make you not happy at all. It is as if such people see themselves as being the whole universe, or at least at the center of the universe. That because they are actually thinking that everything is circulating towards himself. If something is fail, then all the world is dark. If something he get, then all the world is shine. That is wrong. Because sometimes if you cannot be happy with what you have, you must be happy with what your brother, your sister have. feeling happy for others is actually something that will make you shine also. If not, you are thinking everything about you. People that actually will not have a happy life, that now never thinking about this, never. You see, sometimes when you said empathy, if you think about others, like your own self, like if you want to park your car, if you want to park your car and you thinking about others, people will come, want to enter the slot, but you already take, you not park your, didn't park your car correctly. So the space that you took actually making others cannot enter the slot. So if you think about that, you are thinking about your own self, you can see many people is like that. They park their car not really in the right spot, making others cannot enter the other slot. And just thinking, and some people actually like, just yesterday, no, not yesterday. Yesterday, I saw somebody. Actually, people are moving from both sides. He didn't enter the car park, just park his car in the middle of the road to just going into but thinking that I am only entering the shop for a while to buy something, I will come back. So thinking, so selfishness, this type of life or this type of thinking will surely make that person cannot be they cannot get happiness at all, because anything happen, so all the world is dark, black, doesn't have any goodness anymore. That is the thing that happen inside their life. So you don't have to, you know that you actually just a unit from everything inside the society, inside this world. You are a unit from million or billion people in the world. You are one of them. So you are actually making the world moving around, and you cannot move without others. So the other is always there. So think about not only yourself will help you to have concentration about others. Then you can have the grief or the sadness go away from you. That is the way. They think they are not of others, nor do they live for anyone but they themselves. Let me say it. If you think about others and you know that you are living not for yourself only, for Allah, for your religion, for your belief, for your family, for your children, for your sister, for your brother. So you actually, when you think about that, you always have the attention is spread out. So not only concentrating on yourself. So you actually thinking about others also. Like I said, it can make some of the grief go away. Like a wife, if the husband died, if she think about herself only and didn't look at the children is there, but she's thinking about her love life is actually gone away, but the children is there. Can you imagine what will happen to the children if the mother just thinking about herself? Likewise, the children, the son, the daughter, anything happen to them, you're thinking about the parent, because you must always think about others also, not only yourself, because you are related to others. You are not happy making you yourself only to be happy, but also your family to be happy. So thinking about that, like I said, can make a mother, a wife that lost her husband, spread her attention, not concentrating to her, but spreading her attention to others and making her less in grief. She can have a grief and sadness, but not all the way. Not all the way. It is incumbent upon you and I to take time out to preoccupy with more than just us. You have to take that. You have to be with others. You have to look into others. And to sometimes distance ourselves from our own problem in order to forget our wound and hurts. You have wound, you have hurt, but you have to distance yourself. Forget it. Channel your attention to other. Like I said, if you have that capability to look into others, then you can forget your own grief. Like I said, the mother, the wife, she actually really sad. Husband for 20 years, 50 years. But when she think about her children, thinking about her in-laws, thinking about uh, her friend that looking into her, so will make the grief become lesser. She can channel her attention to other. But when she think about her own self, then the thing will start. She cannot move on. Cannot move on at all. I've been questioned a few weeks ago, or a few months ago. One of our sisters in our class asked that her husband died. She cannot move on. So I remind her that we actually, as a Muslim, should know that the death is not everlasting separation between us and the one that we love. Is not everlasting separation. We will meet them again. We finishing our time, and we will go into the same place that they went. So thinking about that, we should make us preparing ourselves to meet them there, to be better, not to be grieving, because the person will not like to see us in that condition. So to I said because we know that we will meet them again. That is something that making assure for us to not really have grief. It's like being said by Aisha al-Anha when the Prophet ﷺ is about to die. So first the Prophet said something to his daughter Fatimah binti Muhammad. She started to cry. She cried. And the Prophet whispered to her again. Then Fatimah laughing, happy. So they asked Fatimah binti Muhammad, what make you cry at the first time the Prophet whispered to you something, and what make you happy and laugh and smile after the Prophet whispered to you the second time? Fatimah said that when the Prophet said that Allah already given him a choice for him to die, and then the angel came to him and said that he must die. Then Fatimah cried because she will be separated from the Prophet. And the Prophet said to her, you, the second one, they're making Fatimah laugh, smile, that the Prophet said, you will be the first from among my family to follow me. You will be the first one to follow me after I die. Then Fatimah laugh. If somebody said to us, you will die after me, he really will not be happy. But that when Fatimah smile and laugh, because he can be together to meet the Prophet there in the spirit world, in the care of Allah. So she laughed because she will be meeting back the Prophet after the Prophet died from this world, this life. So knowing that you will meeting the person again is something that should comfort you. Like I said, we all have our own tickets. Only hours or days between us and the one before us. Maybe our father died in 1997, but we also will follow him. But when our ticket will come, we don't know. When our ticket come, then we will be at the same place that he is now. So comforting us when you knowing that you are not separating from that person forever, not forever. By doing this, we gain two things. We make ourselves happy, and we bring joy to others. You become happy, and you make another person become happy also. To comfort, like I said, to comfort yourself. You want to be. You are feeling the sadness, but when you want to comfort your children, the husband died. So the mother want to comfort their children. She must be cheerful first before the children. You have been thinking about the positive thinking before she can advise the children to not be sad. But if she cannot start from herself to think about positively, then how can she uh, advise her children to become patient? Our father, your father will waiting for you in the other world. So that's wait. Inshallah, that will happen. You know what, my daughter actually, because these days I don't know, the story around our people is actually so dark. So sometimes she did ask when something happened, the father inside the story died. So my daughter said, if I die, she want to, where should she stay with him, with whom should be stay, she stay, she will be staying with who? I said, your mother. If my mother die, I mentioned the name of my sister-in-law. She said, I don't want. So yeah, okay, I said, if he's staying with the Tok, it means the grandmother. Ah, okay. So sometimes things like these days, I don't know. Children are talking about death is actually really actually common. Even if you look into, I think before things like that happen when you look into the story like Lion King, when the father died, Mufasa died. So people actually start to cry because the uh, the 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 cub Simba cried. The father died. But after that, they change the mood. No, the grief is actually there. But sometimes these days, the cartoons say they put the ending, the death and everything in the end. So really, sometimes making our children to talk about death like something so common. Or maybe because when I was small, seeing death in our family is not common. But today, this day, when we are really old and our children is small, so they are seeing, uh, she is seeing her aunt, her uncle, uh, from the father's side, from the mother's side, dying, and she asked, "Where is the person is going?" She said, inside the grave." She said, then start to think. She start to think. Maybe because of the age differences. Because when I was small, at her age, actually all the family is there. You cannot see about death coming. Uh, so common these days. Actually, she actually having that because my sisters and brothers is already old. So she seeing that. At my age, I didn't see that because my auntie, my uncle, all of them are in 30 and for early 40. This day, she actually having uncle and auntie 60s, 60s, 50. So the age is actually so different. Allahu Alam. But the thing is actually something that we have to talk about. We don't want to to talk about it, but ala kulli hal, we have to talk. Even though she is just 4 years old, start to talking about if you die, I will be staying with you home. Uh, your mother, she died with whom? I said your your auntie. No, I don't want her. So something like that. Okay. He said here, basic to the art of happiness is to bridle our thought and to restrain them, not to allowing them to wander, stray, escape, or go wild. I mean that restrain your thought, not to go all the way to think all the way, because overthinking sometimes making you more grieving that you don't really understand that your grief will not change anything. You just thinking about your own thought. So stop it from going wild. For if you were to leave your thought to wander as they wish, then they will run wild and control you. Your thought will control you. They will open the catalog of your past woes. Everything will come. Every sadness will come to your mind. They will remain you in the history of your misfortunes. You don't go out. You don't move on. You cannot move on because your thought is circling around the same grief, the sadness. You're not going away. They will remind you, of the history of your misfortune, beginning from the day that your mother gave you birth. Give you birth. From that day, if you can think about something misfortune, then you start to say misfortune is there. If your thought are left to roam, they will bring to you images of past difficulties and images of future that is frightening. That is happened past, you thinking that the future will be the same. Even though you know that Allah SWT can give you better from whatever past of your life. And Allah Ta'ala is actually doesn't really making you to have the same thing always. Not the same thing always. Sometimes people say, this is my life. I know that this will happen in the future. You know that Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, in Surah Luqman, the last verse, Allah Ta'ala said, وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا. And every soul, each soul will not know what it will get tomorrow. Is it good or bad? You don't know. To think that you getting bad things tomorrow, it will not make you a better person. You start to grieve. You have to frightening about what will happen tomorrow. This day, Allah Ta'ala making us like we actually going into the last day. And all the world is actually, you can see the sign of the last day is there. It's like when you sitting by the road, waiting for the bus to pass by the road. You know, from the start you hear the sound, and suddenly the light of the bus will come to you, and at the end, the bus turning, you can see the bus. You know, really, that is the example that you can understand about the last day. The last day is coming, but Allah Ta'ala is giving you the sign one after another. So thinking about the sign is there, really making you afraid. But you also have the way for you to get the best life for yourself. The Prophet ﷺ never ever told you to leave everything. Don't do anything because the last day is here. Even from the Prophet ﷺ did say, if the last day is coming tomorrow, and in your hand there is the seed of a plant, of a tree. If you can plant that seed before the last day come to you, then do it. You don't say that the sound is there so doesn't need to do anything. No, because whatever you have from your life, living your life as a father, as a brother, as a wife, as a children, or for your mother and your father, as a neighbor, as a friend, you must live out your life for that. Even though tomorrow, the last day will come. The end of the world will come tomorrow. You said, if inside your hand, there is a seed, plant it before the end of the world come. You don't go into that fearing future without doing anything. Do all the things that you can do. Because living your life is actually something that the Prophet ﷺ didn't tell you to just get away. Because like he said here, the future, because you always think about the past, that actually saddening you. You thinking about the future will be frightening. Something that will not giving you anything. That is wrong. Because you have the supplication. You can ask from Allah to have a better day tomorrow. Ask from Him. This thought will shake your very being and will cause your feeling to flare. Therefore, bridle them and restrain them by directing them to concentrated application of the kind of serious thought that begets fruitful and beneficial works. Means that channel your thought to something that is more important, that will make you become a fruitful person. Like I said, as a father, as a brother, as a son, as a friend, as a neighbor, become the best person in whatever condition you have. Because channel your thought not to go into the grief, but go into doing something that is more important. Allah Ta'ala say in the Quran, in Surah Surah al 25. Wait, don't remember the number of the surah. Surah 25 is Surah Al-Furqan, verse number 58. Allah Ta'ala said, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ, and put your trust in the everlasting, Al-Hayy, everlasting, La Yamut, that will not ever die. Anybody else you put your trust, he will die. Maybe he will betray you. But the thing is, when you put your trust in the one that will never die, you will not lose anything. Okay. He said here, also among the principle of the art of happiness is to value life on this world, on this earth, according to its true merit and worth. What is the life really mean in this world? This life is frivolous and does not warrant anything from you except that you turn away from it. This life is filled with calamities. Surely this life is filled with calamities, aches and wounds. If that is the description of this life, then how can one be unduly affected by its minor calamities? And how can one grieve over such material material things that a thing has passed by him? Because if you really think about this world, that is the thing. That is the reality of this world. Having problem after problem, actually difficulty after difficulties. Only that the difficulties sometimes is small, sometimes is big. It's something like you want to eat. You have to do something. You cannot say that I want to eat, then I wait for the food to come to me. Doing the work, the action is something that sometimes make a difficulties for you. You know, you use the Grab application, but the restaurant suddenly closed. then they didn't return your money, and you have to call the center to inform them what happened. And center said, we'll return your money after 24 hours and everything. Then you don't have the money to buy another food. So actually things will happen. Traffic jam. You want to go to somewhere to eat, then traffic jam is there. The traffic jam. So things will happen all the way. Only that either the problem is small or big. You'll always have. Even your health will come. One day you are healthy, second day, few days, start to have fever and everything. Things will have. You have that things. But like you said here, how can one grieve over such material things as have passed by him? You know, how can you just let go and doesn't think about it? The best moment of life are tainted. Its future promises are mere mirage. If you think about that, all the things that you have, happiness are tainted. You have a quarrel with your wife, quarrel with your parent. You have that. Even though these are happy are there, these are sad are there also. These are sad are there also. Its future promises are mere mirage. You know, you think about want to be happy, but the thing is that like a mirage. May be there or no, may not be there. The successful ones in it are envied. You are successful, then people will envy you. Nobody will love you. Because if you are rich, people will say that, I don't like this guy. If you have anything, people will envy you in this world. The one who bless are constantly threatened, and lovers are struck down by the unexpected misfortune. Everything is there in this world. And in hadith, actually in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet will say, verily, knowledge is only acquired by practicing of learning. The Prophet said, wa innamal ilmu bita'allumi, means that knowledge is only acquired by practicing the learning. You learn, you practice your learning. Always doing whatever you practice, whatever you learn. And tolerance is acquired by practice tolerating. You want people to tolerate you, you tolerate others first. Then people will tolerate you. Means that to get the thing that you want, you have to do it first. To do first, not just have the idea without doing. Because this is sometimes we talk about with our staff yesterday. Is I said that having the right knowledge is one thing, but practicing the knowledge is the other thing. You have to practice. You know, you want to achieve better rank in the sight of Allah, then you have to do. You just not knowing that, just having the right akidah is one thing, but doing the good deeds, because Allah always said in the Quran, Alladina amanu wa amilus salihat. Those people who are actually believing in Allah and doing the good deeds, doing the salih from among the deeds. You don't just have the right understanding without any practicing. So if one were attempt to apply the meaning of this hadith to the topic under discussion, our topic is want to be happy, how to, the art of happiness. Then he could go one step further and say that happiness is acquired by assuming it. You know, by acquiring to it, to doing something that will make you happy. That will make you happy. You have to try. You have to always struggle to get happy. It is acquired by constantly smiling. One of it, like we said, smile, always smile. By hunting for the reason that make you make one happy. What the reason? One of the biggest reason that you're happy is getting the pleasure of Allah. When Allah Ta'ala love you, like you, then all your life will be better. So searching for the best, the thing that will make you happy, that is the way. And even by forcing forcing it unto one's own self. You know, you force yourself to be happy. Actually, the happiness, like we said, is actually, they said, subjective. You know, a person that doesn't have any money can be happy. A person that doesn't have any eyes can be happy. You know, happiness can be, actually, like we said, subjective. Just thinking that you have all the money in this world, you become happy is wrong. Many of people that we know, they're actually getting more, more than others. Like name I said before, Anthony Bourdain. You know, the life so luxurious, traveling around, going to luxury hotel, eating the most expensive food, traveling around the world. You know, people will say that really happy. But what happened to him? What happened to him is making that we try to recalculate our assumption. When you assume something like that, it's actually the happiness doesn't come with money or looks. You know, you have good looks. Also, will not make you happy, because in the end you have to sustain the look that you have, and it is actually impossible. So impossible. How can you maintain yourself as in your 20s? No wrinkles, no nothing. So you start to struggle to have happiness. You buy collagen, you get your, the Korean product, whitening and everything. So in the end, you're still not happy. In the end, the happiness is not there. That's the thing. The happiness, you must really make yourself to be happy with whatever you have. Then only Allah Ta'ala will open up for you a better door of happiness for you to cherish. However awkward that may seem, maybe awkward, so awkward. How can you force yourself to be happy? But even though it's awkward, you have to try. One does all of these things until happiness become the second nature. You know, you have to do until the happiness become the second nature for yourself. Things that actually automatic for yourself. The truth of the matter is that you cannot remove from yourself all the remnants of grief. And the reason for this is that life is created as a test. When you say that this the life in this world is really not for everlasting. Make the best of it. Whatever you have, make the best of it. Because sometimes when I look around, people that actually doesn't have money, but they have many children. They don't know that the people that actually having money, Allah doesn't have, they give them children. So everybody have their own test by Allah. Everybody being tested by Allah. Some people not being given eye, but Allah give other thing to them, like a strong memory. So things actually being substituted by Allah with something, replaced by Allah with something else. If the person really think about that, I think that we did met somebody in Malaysia. There's one in the international level. There's one. Somebody is actually shot in his hand and his leg is moving like, doesn't have limb, doesn't have long arm and leg. Just sitting in the chair, but the person is so happy, become motivator, become world motivator. And the one that in Malaysia finish all the degrees and having a normal wife. You thinking about that, the person can achieve. When we ask, actually, he can say that we can be happy in our own way. But some people having all the limbs, all the possibility is there, but doesn't have any happiness because they don't want to search for the happiness for their own self. Okay, he said here in the Quran, in Surah 19, Surah Al-Balad, Allah Ta'ala said, number 4, verily we have created man, walaqad khalaqna insana fi kabad. Verily we have created man in toil, in difficulties. The difficulties is always there when you are being carried by your mother in her womb, in her belly for 9 months, and when you want to get out from your mother's womb, and when you are actually start to crawl and start to learning to walk, all the thing is actually so difficulties after difficulties. Actually, is there difficulty after difficulties, but we thought about that, the problem that the child start to walk, start to crawl and walk, and so on. Our life, when we are grown up, is still there. Difficulty is still there. It's not going away. Only that the difficulties become sometimes more in the type of mind, the mindset. Not really about the difficulties really difficult, because you don't want to go, don't want to do it. And so that you making you stumble at one level, doesn't grow up after that. Even you see about the children, if you really think about it, the children about walking, that the father and the mother didn't taught them. Naturally, they can do it. From laying under their back, they start to turn and start to crawl, and after that on 4 legs, and after that they start to stand out, and after that the things actually being given by Allah naturally. If you really think about that, then our problem in our life also being given by Allah solution like that. But we doesn't want the thing to be slowly being handed by our own self. We want the thing to be here and now. That's why we don't have the patience to wait, because Allah Ta'ala may be giving you the problem, but the solution will come after that. Like I said in the Quran, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Because with every difficulties, there is easiness. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Verily with that difficulties, there is easiness. 2 easiness for 1 difficulties. Allah Ta'ala promised us. But we don't have the patience. That's why in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala said, Ista'inu bis sabri was salah. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. O people who have believed. Ista'inu. Ask help. That is from Allah. Bis sabri was salah. By being patient and by performing the salah. Performing the salah. Actually, that the way is there, but we, like I said, always hasting everything to be quick for us. That's why we don't have the feeling that Allah Ta'ala is taking care of us by the pace that He want. We want the pace that we want. Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, in the Surah Hud, verse number 7, Allah Ta'ala said, liyabluwakum ayyukum ahsanu amala. Allah Ta'ala created this world that He might try you. Which of you is the best in deeds? Ayyukum ahsanu amala. But the message I wish to convey, the author said, to you is that you should, as much as possible, reduce the amount of intensity of your grief. Means that the grief is there, but how to control it, not to go all the way into the grief. As for being completely free from grief, this is for the inhabitants of the paradise in the hereafter, because it doesn't have any grief. That is in the paradise. In this world, you will have the grief, you will have the sadness, you have the happiness, you have the sadness in this world. But in the hereafter, only in the paradise, that no grief at all is there. This is why the dwellers of paradise will say in Surah the name of the Surah 35 is actually Suratul Fatir. Surah Fatir, verse number 34. They said, Alhamdulillahilladzi adhaba annal hazan. All praises and thanks be to Allah who removed from us all the grief. This is what being said by the inhabitants of the paradise. Alhamdulillahilladzi adhaba annal hazan. All praises be to Allah, thank to Allah, for that remove from us all the grief. This is considered to be proof that grief will not be removed from them except in paradise. Likewise, grudges, bitterness will not completely remove in this world except in paradise. Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, in the surah of number 15, in Surah Al-Hijr. Surah Al-Hijr, verse number 47. Allah Ta'ala said, وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي صُدُورِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ. We remove from their breast any sense of injury. Min ghillin, any displease between you and others, Allah Ta'ala will take it away from you inside the paradise. In this world, no. We will always have somebody will not satisfy with you. Nobody can satisfy everybody in this world. So even though people actually like you, then must be somebody doesn't like you. So you don't have to have to concern about that, because this world, like being said in that ayah, Allah said, وَنَزَعْنَا مَا فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مِنْ غِلٍّ. We will remove from their heart, from their breast, any displease or any injury, sense of injury that they may have. إِخْوَانًا عَلَى سُرٍ مُتَقَابِلٍ. They become brothers on the bed. They're actually staying there, sitting there with others. Doesn't have any grief. It doesn't have any envy, any hate. This world you have, there you will not have. So when a person knows the nature of this world and its qualities, he comes to realize that it's dry, deceitful, and unworthy. And he comes to fully understand that it is the nature of this is deception, and it's deception. It is the nature of the world and deception of the world. For you to have everything here, no. So you understand that, then you know that the hereafter, the last day is better for you. So hoping that, like I said, you feeling lost here, but you thinking about what you will gather there. It will make you smile. I will get something there because Allah Ta'ala took from me this. Allah Ta'ala will give me something there. Because Allah Ta'ala will replace for you a better one. Having that hope, essentially will make you a cheerful person. Thinking about what you will get. You know, sometimes I give this analogy. If you bought a car, you bought a car. The car is actually being given a warranty. Any scratches, any damage, the car maker will give you a new one. Will give you a new one. You have an accident, your car become dent and everything. So you thinking about the warranty, the assurance from the car maker. Anything happen to you, we'll replace you with new one. What will happen for you when you have that something being happen to your car? You smile. You will be smiling. Oh, Alhamdulillah, we get new one. Something that actually like that. Last time when the brand Oakley for spectacles, they have that warranty, lifetime warranty before. So when you bought it, they are quite expensive. But if anything happen to the spectacles, to the frame, bend or everything cannot be fixed, then the company will replace you with new one. So one of my friend, he bought an specific one, being replaced twice. Being replaced twice. The first one, I think the reason is the same. The first one, his daughter sit on the spectacle. The second one, the daughter do something to that spectacle, to that frame. So he get a new one. So he's smiling. Whenever something happen, he's smiling because when he send that frame to the shop, he will get a new one. Not really he doing that, but the warranty making you happy. Making you have the easiness, the calmness in your heart. You don't feel sad. Something will be you'll be getting replaced from the owner. Now Allah Ta'ala is giving you the assurance that He will replace for you everything that you lost in this world. Even though you didn't get, you take the matter into the court. The court have a discussion there and everything. The trial happen, you lost. But actually you can smile because Allah Ta'ala, if really it's yours, Allah Ta'ala will surely get it for you in the last day. You're not losing anything. So every time you lose something, Allah Ta'ala will replace you with a better one. And you have the reward for whatever happened to you. So smile. You have to smile. You lost your watch, you smile because Allah Ta'ala will replace for you in the last day. You get the reward, and if the thing being stolen from you, you get back your right about that stolen things. Okay. An Arab poet said, "You have taken an oath not to betray us in our pact, and it is as if you have vowed that in the end you shall deceive us." When you say, "I promise I will not betray you," it is as if you are saying that in the last time I will betray you. You oath to somebody, "I will not betray you," as if you are saying, careful, I can betray you. Allahu A'lam. If the description of this world is as I describe it to be, then it is worthy of intelligent person not to help in its onslaught. Means that the person that intelligent must really careful about it. Don't make disaster out of whatever happened in this world. Nor to surrender to depression and anxiety. You don't have to surrender to depression and anxiety, because if you have this grief about this thing today, tomorrow something will happen. The third day something will happen. So you will continuously having the trial from Allah. So don't ever say that I don't want any trial to be upon me. But the problem is that is the way of this life. That is the reality of this life. Is for trial from Allah. What we should do is to defend ourselves from all feelings that may spoil our life. Defend yourself from all the feelings that spoil your life. In a war that we must wage with all the strength that we have been endowed with. any strength that Allah give you, use it. Use it. To make sure that you don't go into grief all the way, or anxiety or depression. Allah Ta'ala say in the Quran, in Surah Al-An'am, verse number 60, Allah Ta'ala said, wa'iddu lahum mastata'tum min quwwatin, and make ready against them, against your enemy, mastata'tum min quwwatin, whatever you can from of power, wa min ribatil khail, and also including steeds in war, turhibuna bihi aduwallahi wa aduwakum, that you may threaten the enemy of Allah and your enemy. Means that to prepare yourself in this world about having to not go into anxiety and depression. That is one of the way. Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Al-Imran, verse number 146, fama wahanu bima asabahum fi sabilillah, and they didn't lose heart because what befell upon them, befell them in the way of Allah. Wama da'ufu wama stakanu, they don't weaken, they no degrade themselves. That is one of the way of actually being told to us as the quality of the mu'min. They befell upon them the calamity, but they don't feel weakened because they know that they strength with Allah, not with their own self. Okay, Alhamdulillah. We stop there. Inshallah, we'll continue next week. Any question? Okay. Online also doesn't have any question. Alhamdulillah. So we stop here. Inshallah. The art of happiness, pause to reflect. We just conclusion inshallah next week. Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.